You started streaming, huh?
I didn't want to disturb your flow and the mahabbat haqiqat ashqi. It was such a beautiful, beautiful divine energy to tap into. Yes, we're already live with the long-awaited session with Ram and the expression and the expansion and the expansion and the poetry of expansion and the expansion in love. Welcome to our sacred space, dearest Shivoham Shivoham, dearest Ram, and our family is already in the house. Thanks for joining in, Kirtana, Gaia, and the all beautiful ones who will join us throughout. And later on, our sacred space is always welcoming you into the circle of light, where light meets light and light attracts light, and we're growing as one family, one heart. It was such a heartwarming starting meditation with the most powerful words that resonate and represent Ram. Mahabbat, haqiqat ashq. And that's what he is all about, the embodiment of mahabbat, love, and the haqiqat, the truth, and the ashq, the unconditional divine love. And that's who he is, and that's what he is here for today, to share this haqiqat that it's starting to bloom into beautiful writings. And you can follow up Ram on his Instagram, Photography by Shivoham, all the beautiful writings of his poetry and a long-awaited novel that he started sharing part of it on his Instagram along with his photography. We are so blessed to have you in the house today. And honestly, I wanted to start with a few words that you shared with me yesterday when I asked you, how do you feel into the session? And you shared those beautiful words. In every expression of consciousness, it's Shakti manifesting Shiva. Even a zillion manifestation would be only limited in expressing Shiva. And yet, to all that is ever manifested or would ever be manifested, in essence, there is only either awareness of love or ignorance of it. And these words touch deeply into the consciousness of each one of us as we are growing deeper into the expansion in love and learning to let go of the judgment. So we let go of the ignorance of it. Thank you for being here, Ram. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Erah. And yeah, and I feel that this playfulness which you have brought in our life has completed the circle of my grounded wisdom. So I'm so grateful for that, because spirituality is not all that serious, as you said yesterday.
Yes.
So yeah, but when I laugh, I also laugh. Looks as if it's serious, but I'm laughing.
You're already tapped into the wisdom of the high priest you are, which has always been within you, and it's taken shape and more and more with every word you're sharing with the collective. I'm so eager to hear more about the poetry and where that poetry is coming from.
Yeah, before I say, you just touched upon Mohabbat, Hakikat, and Ashq, and this is a flow which coming through, and these three words are very significant, and they somehow, I didn't plan it when we kind of wrote this song. That was in Rishikesh, but it somehow came in a way that now I see the greater depth in it. So it's interesting that the painter, the writer, the artist create their creation, and sometime when they're creating, they do not know how many undercurrents are there of wisdom in that, and they themselves revisited and they realize, oh, there is more currents than what they thought in the first place when they were creating those creations. So just like that, in this Mohabbat, Hakikat, Ashq, these three words are arranged in such a beautiful manner, unintentionally. The word Mohabbat means love, as we understand in our day-to-day practice, the typical falling in love and attraction. And Hakikat means truth. What is absolute truth? So love, as we understand in our daily life, opens up the door to a possibility of understanding what truth is. And when you do that, it will lead to what is the third word in this line, which is Ashq, which is the divine love, unconditional love. So there is two dimensions of love, Mohabbat and Ashq, and Mohabbat is the door which opens a way to the truth. And if you embrace truth while passing to that door, then you will reach the stage of Ashq. But unfortunately, most of us actually open that door, and then when we see the truth, we find it so unusual, so unaccustomed, that we just close the door and walk back. And this is the story of falling in love and falling out of love constantly, which we all have gone through. And interestingly, yesterday I was writing, so I wanted to write something which could explain falling in love and then rising in love. But all I could write was a description of what does falling in love feels like. So that poem was kind of incomplete poem, but I would like to read it during the course of this session, if it happens so.
We're so looking forward to hear it all from you. And I was just sharing on Instagram for a teaser, a bits of what's happening, so that we can call in more of the family to join in. It's as you said, it's when we are creating, there's a bits and pieces to that creation that ourselves are not much aware of. And I notice that when I am painting as well, I don't know where I'm starting and where it's heading. And with every layer, there are many dimensions to it. And the more we evolve, the more we understand it. As you read it now and you tuned in again after many years, along with the harmonium, your consciousness already had expanded to comprehend it, that the mahabbat is leading, opening the door, and embracing the truth will lead us to a higher ground of unconditional love. It's so beautiful. But actually, I am so looking forward to start up with the most powerful words of your wisdom, the poem Death, as we are witnessing the death of this ego day after day, as we are expanding in love, the death of the false self as we expanding in the highest frequency self. And this is what I would love to start with, as we are dying for a new rebirth. And we will comment a little bit on the poem. And also I want to hear from you beautiful ones who are watching here in Facebook, if you have any questions for or comments for Ram, so we can share your presence along with us.
Feed. My dad doesn't know how to use Instagram.
Oh, okay. It's not on Instagram. We can share with him the YouTube link. It's already running on YouTube as well. I'll give you the minute. Yeah. Yeah, the YouTube is already on. We are also live on YouTube, Erah Light channel.
There's no share button there.
On YouTube? From the laptop, you can see the or I can share with you the link from the Facebook. The Facebook is on. I know family feels so proud of us as we are expanding and sharing our beautiful self. To share this light with them, it's also very important for them and us. I'm sharing the link on the on here. So you can pass it on to them. And the YouTube link, I'll have to also find it. Everybody's awaiting for the most beautiful poems. And we are also looking forward to sharing these moments with our loved ones. Nerika healing, it's happening right now. Yes.
Okay, I found it.
You found it? I also found it. I'll send it over here in the chat. Okay, here's the YouTube link. Happening right now? Yes. Wonderful. Mahabbat haqiqati ashqi. May we open the doors of the Nerika, where we open this portal to the truth that leads to the unconditional love within us. This is our day 8 of the Cosmic Activation Retreat, and we've made it so far. And I am so blessed with the presence of all the wonderful facilitators and all that they are bringing to the space. Blessed with your presence. And tonight at 8:08, another session with the Komal, another powerful activation, grounding activation, deeply connecting. And tomorrow we are left with 3 more sessions. I will share the details as we go. And Ram is back in the space with his beautiful poetry of expansion. The space is yours.
Okay, although you like to start with the poem Death, but I think let's wait for that poem. I have not shared that poem with the world yet. And I will share it today, hopefully, if you feel guided. But I will like to start with an understanding of what love actually means. You know, till you understand the perception of love as we understand today, till you dive into deeply, you won't have a chance to even look ahead that what more can love be. So we must understand what is the limited form of love as we experience it day to day. And once we see the limitation within it, then only, or the illusion embedded in that love, we will be able to understand that there is a possibility of higher love too. So, does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah.
let start with what I wrote yesterday, and it describes the love as we understand on kind of daily um, way of what the love day to day we understand and how we feel about it, and what is experience of falling in love actually means. And so we all have fallen in love with something or other, with a beloved, with a, it could be being, it could be an inanimate object, it could be a pup, it could be anything, but we all, as we say, we have fallen in love. So let's imagine, just well, as I read these words, visualize yourself those moments when you actually felt that you are falling in love. So how it's like head over the heel feeling, and it's really one of the most wonderful feeling anybody can ever imagine. Falling in love. So falling in love. Just visualize and close your eyes and listen to it. It knocked my door. It knocked my door when I least expected, like bright sun after snowfall. Like bright sun after snowfall, frozen streams just melted. No noise, no blast. Just wide eyes, I witnessed them fall. High walls I have built, the pillars so strong, nothing could tilt. And not by brute ignorance of arrogance of the word, and not by brute arrogance of the word, but by a soft touch of a stranger, it fell all apart. It fell all apart. All boundaries vanished. From the peak of ego, I fell like a feather falling from the sky. From the peak of ego, I fell like a feather falling from sky. I am in love. I am in love in the free fall. I did indeed fly. That's a feeling. We fall in love, and that fall feels looks like flight, a flight. I am in love in the free fall. I did indeed fly. But what happens after that? But the feeling was short. But the feeling was short. The flight was farce. It was a free fall. Into the abyss I found broken pieces of my heart, scattered feathers of my wing. Oh love, oh love, you promised me highs. Then how and when did it all happen? Shrinking sky, gripping fear. I need you. Without you, my dear, I can't survive. I can't survive. This is a cry we can start doing. I need you. I can't survive without you. The promise of liberation is broken. The promise of liberation is broken. The walk to freedom, just a token. You landed me into an invisible prison. Confused, bewildered, this feeling scorched me. I feel numb. I fail to reason. I feel numb. I fail to reason. Maybe you too have once fallen in love. Now I am asking you, all of you have fallen in love, isn't it? Maybe you too have once fallen in love, and I wonder why you choose to fall. Not once, but again, and then again. Walking in scorching sun, you search for a drop of rain. Walking in scorching sun, you search for a drop of rain. So this is it's an incomplete poem because this describes the first half, Mohabbat. How does love feels? How does the falling in love feels? And how does it ultimately a promise of freedom leads to a walk to prison? So I if any of you and if all of you resonate with this feeling sometime in your life, if you've gone through this, if you have really gone through this, then there is a point of this session. Otherwise, this session is useless. I think you should tune out. If you have experienced falling in love and then experience this abyss, then only you will search for some bigger meaning. And you will say why this happened. So questions must come from this suffering. And this suffering comes from the promise of love, which is always unfulfilled. So if we are at that point, we go ahead from this. So do you resonate with me this Erah? Do you think that you have
As
ever?
it is, actually, it is, as you said, it's incomplete because we reach a point from those falls. We pick our feathers, we pick our pieces, and we realize love is much bigger and greater. And our next aim is to rise in love. And as we rise in love, our higher and highest journey is to expand in love. So that's what has been coming to me for the past few days. The word expansion in the power of expansion, expansion in love, as it came through, it came from this understanding that we fall in love and we fall again and we come out and we always suffer, we always feel broken. It's not until we bypass this feeling of being broken and alone and needy and possessiveness, we realize that love is at a higher octave, and even a higher octave. Then we rise in love. And as we rise, we know that it's at a higher and higher and higher frequency. Then we expand in love and we become this love we are. It is definitely so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And yeah, I'm just feeling this expansion right now within my heart. And I'm gonna extend gratitude to the beautiful ones joining here on Facebook, Bridget and Muqaddas and Komal and another Bridget and Kirtana and Gaia. Thank you for being here with us.
So last few lines of this poem are incomplete, but I will read those incomplete lines because rest of our session will complete those lines.
Please.
In the utter moment of despair, when you have fallen in love, and in that utter moment of despair, when everything looked dark and unfair, finally I started to see. And this is where I stopped this poem, because what did I started to see? The session is about this. So this is why I wanted to open this session with this, because a context is must. What are we talking about? Where are we? The place you are standing from, you must know in order to understand the landscape. You must know whether you are standing on the peak of the mountain or on the floor. So I invite you, all of you, to actually come to the floor, to connect with that place from where questions are born. The questions which never see the light of the day can never be answered. The journey of awakening starts from asking question. And if you have not right question, you will never get right answers. So the right question here is that what went wrong? Love, promise of love, why it didn't fail? And then when you ask this question, something inside starts answering. And that answer is the beginning of this journey. So I think that sets up the whole idea of our session, the expansion in love. So is it falling in love or is rising in love? This is a question we are asking. Did I fall in love or did I rise in love? Or there is a way to rise in love, or we do always fall in love? Now with this idea, I think there is a small write-up we wrote some time back, which will kind of summarize which Erah you just said about expansion. So let me read this, and after that you take over the reign, and being the host, you tell me what to read. Okay. So this is a write-up I wrote some time back. It says togetherness in love. So not in the rigidness of bonding, Not in the rigidness of bonding, but in the flexibility of effortless presence, does the true joy of togetherness lies. Not in singing in each other's symphony, but in composing one's own song, does the joy of manifesting lies. Not in drinking from same cup, but in filling each other's cup, does the true joy of sharing lies. Love empowers lovers to be more of who they are. It liberates us from the need to be accepted. Though birthing through union of two beings, though birthing through union of two beings, love is instead manifested in the unique expansions of the souls. Love leads to growth and not to constriction. It encourages differences and not banishes uniqueness. For true love is the togetherness which empowers us to be alone. True love is togetherness which empowers us to be alone.
That's the beyond the rising and the falling. That's the expansion. When love gives you the wings to fly and to rise above the limitation of the body and mind and the conditioning and even the dogma of life, this rising, it will always bring deeper connection and deeper understanding and deeper what we fail to understand when we meet a person in our life, or when we meet a partner, or when we meet a husband, or when we meet a lover, we always try to mold ourselves to fit in their picture, or we try to mold them to fit in our picture. And this is when we fail, and this is when we go into the deeper frustration and the repression of our authentic unique self. Loves give you wings to just be who you are, to accept yourself and accept the other as they are, and allow them to rise and allow them to fly just as beautifully as you are allowing yourself. It's just an open, it's an allowance and given and receiving in such a manner that it's beyond our limited mind comprehension about love, the Bollywoodic and or the Hollywoodic and the romantic love that we see on the screen. Love is beyond. It's octaves and octaves of love, and as we rise in every, it's a spiral. As we rise in each layer, we're growing bigger and bigger into this expansion. And not, it doesn't only it's not only an expansion from one side, it's the expansion of both parties. And love is undermined the way it was projected and seen, and also the fantasies of love that we lived through. Love is beyond that. It is painful. It will bring that deep pain and traumas and conditioning out of you. It brings you to see yourself in the mirror of the other person, so you become his or her mirror, and he or she become your mirror. So there's no hiding behind the egoic self. There's nothing. There's no ego in love. There's only pure melting in the moment, and there's a pure affection, compassion, patience, merging, fighting, arguing, coming together. It's such a dynamic. It's such a dynamic. And yes, as we rise, we are birthing ourselves anew every day, when love is the force behind this expansion, when love is healing you from the inside. Love makes you a better listener. Love makes you a more compassionate a partner. Love makes you a better version of you. Love and the ashq, actually, it's not only the love, the ashq, the divine love you are. It becomes within you, and you become this embodiment, and it will take you to heights. And you're always You're always high on love. You're always high on this energy. You're always productive and manifesting. There's such a deep manifestation in the presence of love. Um, I actually I should give you the space. You have a lot of poem to share, but you're giving me inspiration right now. Thank you.
I am used to me not speaking and you speaking, so it is normal. I
No,
like that.
you were just telling me the other day that I'm becoming much better of a listener, especially when I'm leading my sessions. And I am now I'm taking over your session. I'm gonna give you the space, Ramji.
No, you're right. The talking about love, you can never stop because talking about love is nothing different than talking about God and creation. So it is impossible to talk about love in few hours, one day, or even in whole lifetime, and many lifetimes too. You can write volumes and volumes of pages, and even then, love cannot be expressed. Love itself is Shiva and Shakti. It is itself every. So when we talk about today, so that's why I will we can expand into the expressions of love into a zillion fragments, but that's just not possible. I will love to. If you have eternity and I have eternity, we can sit together and do that. But Zoom will cut us in 90 minutes probably. So we will limit ourselves to the expression of love between between a man and woman. And then when we see that particular expression, it is indeed the beginning. Once you understand the ashk, the higher octave of that love expands out in every aspect of life. It is nothing to do with two human beings at all. They are just like the axle on which wheel is rotating. What is the value of axle? It is important, but the wheel which is actually making you move ahead, the movement of the wheel. So the anchor is this love between a man and woman, but through that anchor is like an axle.
I'm gonna interrupt you here. It's between lovers. It could be of any gender.
Yes,
We're just open here to love. You
when we
can't
talk,
let us be limited.
yeah, the form is there, but obviously we all have man and woman inside us. So you're right that it's not about. I believe that when we use these words, they are energetically understood, especially in your big community where everything is energy. They do very well understand. So for the sake of the clarity, we use these words. So yes, so this is what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Which poem is coming next?
So you wanted me to read Death, and maybe I can read that poem today. And so it's an intense poem, and it was written at a time when I started experiencing the growth. And I realized that first time when I experienced growth, I was so happy. Oh, I am grown, and maybe I'm spiritually enlightened. And not really, but I felt, oh, that's not far. And and then soon, not like long time, maybe weeks and months, there comes that tornado of emotions, and you lose everything you call spiritual, and you are a jerk once again. And then it happens again and again, and then I realized that this process is much too deeper than we usually perceive. So death death, how many times it happens in a lifetime? That's a very interesting question, and every time it happens, it's scary. So this poem is partly also. So I shared with recently with somebody on a personal message, and that person pointed out very interesting thing. Oh, it's an experience of Eckhart Tolle, and I do realize because I've read his book, and I realize, oh yes, this is an experience of Eckhart Tolle, and this is my experience also, and such experiences are universal. So I'm sure it is experience of many of you who are listening this, and this is the reason I will. This is your poem. Everybody who is on spiritual path, this is your poem. Hear it, and it's a personification of the journey of spirituality. So the title of the poem is Death. darkness, not a photon of light. I hold gun in my hand, fingers taut, set on trigger, fear grips me. Anxiety, questions. Standing at the edge of mind, I contemplate. I contemplate. What if? What if it's not a flight? What if it's not a flight but a never ending fall? I strain my eyes, trying to see the ground at the bottom. All I can see is never ending tunnel of darkness. I take a deep breath as memories run on the canvas of mind like a fast forward clip. Everything feels real and yet unreal. My body is wet, but it hasn't rained for months. My body is wet, but it hasn't rained for months. I realize it's my sweat. My eyes are open, and yet I cannot see anything. A voice tells me to pull the trigger, take the plunge, jump. Doubt creeps in. Doubt creeps in. I feel suffocated. 1,000-headed serpent strangulate me. I am dying. Fear, insecurities, doubts, loneliness. I feel unmanifested, wasted. I must die. And the finger snaps. And the finger snaps, the trigger is pulled, the bullet is set free. A bullet is set free. A leap of faith. I take the lunge. I jump from the edge of the cliff. No sound, no cry, no blood. Just a silent fall. I see it falling limp, lifeless. Fear is gone. And yet I am standing with gun in my hand. The muscles are sore and strained. I pull the trigger again and another limp of body falls on the floor beside me. Insecurities are gone. I see a emaciated ray of light entering my darkness. I see a emaciated ray of light entering my darkness, and I pull the trigger again. Doubts are gone. I feel free, confident and alive. A gush of wind, and the window in the room opens, bringing in a flood of light. I must keep pressing the trigger and press it yet again, and the walls of the room start collapsing. I feel I am collapsing. The roof over my head is no more there. I see vast blue, beautiful sky, featureless and yet so beautiful. I feel one and whole. The loneliness is gone. The gun is still in my hand. I decide to press the trigger yet once more. And this time, this is a clear sound, clear like the tinkle of the bells, not like the sound of a blast. I realize it's not just a sound, it's a music. It's a music coming from inside me. I start singing. I realize I am flying to unknown, to unmanifested. The manifested has become one with unmanifested. The darkness is gone, for it wasn't really a darkness. For it wasn't really a darkness, it was indeed a shadow. It was indeed a shadow. I am born. I see him smiling. I see him smiling. I see myself smiling. In death, in death, I have found life. In the end, I have found the beginning. I am dead. I am born. I am dead. I am born. This is experience many of us go when we deal with each layer of our egos and we make those critical choices where the ego must be offered to the yagna, to the fire. It will happen again and again till all the layers are gone.
What a beautiful feeling. And the dark nights of the souls. Exactly. When we go through the deepest of the shadow work with the utmost compassion toward ourselves and allow, and the compassion is what pulls the trigger. because we are here to manifest the divinity with every layer. I am having shivers all over. My heart is just palpitating so fast. We have gone through these moments of death and rebirth many times, and actually the light is intensifying in my from the window, and that's some angelic presence in the space with us. It is not only a beautiful poem, these are the words of the soul. And I remember Ram keep always saying, how can I experience what you guys do experience on all this expression and you talk about on your higher self? These are the aha moment, Ram. These are the moment when you have just channeled your higher self into these words, and that's your highest frequency self speaking to us. There's no other aspect of you that's outside of you. Yeah, everybody's having goosebumps. It's such a powerful energy that you are sharing with us in our sacred space. So blessed and so grateful with this expansion that you are adding to us as individual and our space as a sacred space. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And there's nothing more empowering to oneself and to others is then sharing these divinely words, these divine words, these wisdoms. And I'm probably going to break the news to our beloved family. Starting January onward, await and the long awaiting uh, podcast, the Poetry of Expansion, will get started, and I will host Ram every week on the Poetry of Expansion on podcast, and he will share a poem and there will be a commentary on it. So this is our New Year project, and it's coming into the space.
She knows before you know what is happening, going to happen with you.
Yeah, I know things. I know that I am sure that I know. So this is how sure I am of the pure alignment into what we are sharing. uh Beautiful. This poem, needs to be read again and again, and felt in every layer of ourselves where there's still insecurities lingering, where is still some doubt is lingering,
Like
pain
to
of
add,
abandonment lingering. We are just allowing the death of the ego at the altar of love today.
so when you find go through this moment, you feel like you reach a point of void, zero. And I think this is the time which poem you wanted me to start with. I share that poem and I call it Sifar. It's like few lines, and it describes the bliss which you feel. So the idea which the words I'm sharing are not like, it could be my words, but the experience are yours. They are my experiences and yours experiences. We all are deeply connected. When I say that, when I say my eyes become wet, because we are so deeply connected that there is no way, no words, no gesture, no creation which can explain this connection. And yet, the lila, the illusion of separateness is equally real. But imagine if this whole world is colored blue, will there be ever a color blue? It will no more be a color blue. You need a color red in order to appreciate a color blue, and same way we need the separateness in order to understand the connectedness we have. So saying that, I get often digressed when I get emotional, but the this experience is also your experience, and I call it Sifar. We all are having these moments of zero, the void. So how does it feel? My silence, my silence speaks 1,000 words. My silence speaks 1,000 words. My path is a path of choiceless choices. My path is a path of choiceless choices. My abundance is in possessing nothing. My abundance is in possessing nothing. My wings are not seen, but my wings are not seen, but I fly freely in the sky of my heart. I am Shivoham. I am Sifar. I am Shivoham. I am Sifar. You are Shivoham. You are Sifar. We are this. Abundance is not having something. Abundance is losing the fear of losing anything because you don't possess anything. So there is no fear. You are abundant with joy and bliss.
We are abundant here in our space with so much love and so much gratitude and so much a deep appreciation to these words of wisdom. And you know, it's yes, we are reaching this 0 point. As we are expanding, we are centered in that 0 point. It is our center, that void where we are everything and we have everything and we are beyond the connections. Oh, as you say, when the energy is so strong, the body temperature drops.
It indicates that your thought process is slowed down to such a level that there is hardly any metabolism. So your temperature is bound to drop. A deep meditation will lead to that. So this is indirect sign of meditative experience.
Yeah, the scientist in you has to come out. Wonderful, wonderful. We'll have space for one more poem.
Okay,
I'm
so
very I'm very greedy today.
yes, I am loving this sharing. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that I will love to share it, and I'm grateful for the way it has flowed. And I will love to share more poems. But if anybody has any specific trigger which they want to bring it into space, it would be good. And if not so, then maybe if this is the last poem, I can share this another experience of yours and everybody else, which we, which is like inevitable experience, and we call it journey of life.
The journey of life, exactly.
So everyone on this journey of life, but unfortunately, as you walk on this journey, we have assumed that this journey of life is in a straight line. We started as someone who didn't know anything, like a child, and then we learned, we grew, became knowledgeable, informative, wise, and then we did job, married, and then build a house, successful. We see a straight arrow, and nobody can be blamed to understand, to assume that the journey of life is a straight line from knowing nothing to knowing a lot, or not having anything to having a lot. But those who are aware, who are conscious, who watch every step of life more carefully, they come to a different realization. And this poem explains that realization. And I am sure many of you have this realization. So, again, your experience and the words come in this poem. So, shall I?
Please. And I would like to also to ask you to go on our Facebook page as it is streaming, and so you can be also in direct contact with the comments that are coming and feel into it with us, and maybe something we can even comment through to you.
Yeah, I
It's
will
on the
try,
Nerika
but
Healing page. Yeah,
I
because
will
we
be this page because that's where I signed last time.
and we have a strong I don't want to call it the sunlight, we have strong angelic presence in the space, and that came to me through some sharing recently. about the light that comes through. What we might think that, oh, it's just the sun shining through. Every pattern that comes through, it's a angelic presence that is in the room with us, in the space with us. The journey of life.
Yeah, so I will like to, again, your experience, my dear beloved friends. And when I say these words, they are very, 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 very meaningful for me, dear beloved friends. So they make me emotional. Okay, so this is not such an emotional poem. It's just experience you all have. It's the usual experience. The journey of life. The journey of life is a great cosmic joke. And why I say that? Journey of light is a great cosmic joke. So even God is, funny. It's a cosmic joke. You walk arrogantly, collect many toys. You walk arrogantly and collect many toys, and yet many toys you throw. As you walk on each road, you look for followers. And as you walk on each road, you look for followers. Many hands you hold, and yet at every fork, you wonder which way to go. As you find yourself standing in cold, many turns and many forks, legion choices and million thorns. Walking is destiny. You die and get reborn. You die and get reborn until one day you see the joke. Until one day you see the joke. The road which seemed straight was never straight. All those roads meet in a great circle, they meet. You walked on it 1,000 times, hoping to reach the final point through many triumphs and as many failures, through endless serenity and endless sins, through tragic losses and ecstatic wins. In the end, you realize the journey ends where it begins. In the end, you realize the journey ends where it begins. Isn't it a cosmic joke?
The deepest realization are coming through to each one of us. And yet, even though it's the most cosmic joke, it is magnificent. We have chosen to be here. We have chosen to come down, to come into this incarnation, into the physical presence, even the geographic presence, the family, the friends, the lovers, the kids, even our pets, even our houses. Everything in this journey is already I can't say predestined because it's a choice we've made, and it is aligned to our highest good. It is aligned to
You have,
our divinity.
you have
It requires.
lot of channelers in this circle, and they connect with higher realms and different energies, non-earthly energies. But I will channel one very intelligent, very interesting secret which nobody knows, and it is that, believe me, there is a waiting list of souls who want to come to earth, which is such a wonderful experience. People are applying, souls are waiting, we want to come, please. This is the most envied dimension in the entire galactic creation of universe. Most sought after school, most Ivy League college of the souls, so to say. So we have a very good application and high grades, and that's why we were able to get admission in this university. We should rejoice. We are the top of the notch.
Yes, let's enjoy it, and rejoice in it, and expand through it. And the whole family is here today with us, Ram, and they're all happy with your sharing, with your presence. If you have any question for him or into the space, please write it down in the comment. He has access to the comments, so he can read it through and he can share his wisdom. I call him the wise high priest, as he's awakening to this high wisdom within him. And you can reach out to him, finding on maybe mainly on his Instagram, photography by Shivoham. So you can tap into the writings and the poetry and the photography and the wisdom of Shivoham and connect with him. We're all looking forward to the completion of the novel, the signing of the poetry book, and more to come, more to come, more to come as we are manifesting ourselves to the highest frequency of love and light. What a beautiful timings to spend the morning in a sacred space with the family of love and light, with more of our light shining through as we're approaching the that portal of the 21st of December. We are holding a collective transmission on Monday at 8:08 here in our sacred space as a closing ceremony for our retreat. We would love to extend the invite to all of you to join in the Zoom or in the live. The more light come into the space, the more we shine brighter. It's a collective. Most of the facilitators, the healer, that channelers who have joined during the retreat will be present in that transmission, and it's all entrusted in divine service, and it's all in the highest good of all. Thank you everybody for showing up in our space. Again, if you have any questions, and the last words for Ram, if there's any, before we close the session.
I want to express emotion, feeling by the presence of all of you. I always feel that I have a big soul tribe, and I always tell all of you when I connect with you that my love for Erah is not more than a love for you, because I love each one of you equally. And it sounds a little confusing at times to people, but there is nothing which can be farther from the truth. I love each one of you as much as I love myself. I love my parents or my sisters or my soul tribe or Erah or pups or my trees. I really cannot segregate this love into compartment, into labels. Such deep is this love. So if anybody who realizes the love which we share, as a third person they see it, I think they could understand the depth of love I have for you. And whether it is Mukko, Richard, or it could be anyone out there, all of you.
They're
The
all in
love
the
is
house. They're all in the house, and we are all basking in the beautiful words of your wisdom. There was a question from Sanjay. He's saying, "What's the truth that we live by? What is the truth that we live by?"
the day. It's a very beautiful question. What's the truth we live by? See, this question itself is the life. The day you have found that truth, the difference between life and death will finish, and there won't be, you can't say that I'm living or I'm dying. You will be just manifesting and existing. The life, as we understand, is simply a momentum from ignorance to knowing. And truth cannot be described in one word, that this is the truth we are looking for. The entire journey of life itself is a journey of truth. Another thing which is so important to understand, Sanjay, is that each one of has a billion truth, are unique to ourselves. So if anybody tells you that you go and look for this truth, it's a farce. It is his truth, not my truth. I cannot tell that this is a truth you have to look for. Your truth is your truth, but your journey of life itself is a journey to discover that truth, unique to Sanjay, unique to you. But there's something miraculous beyond that. As Osho said yesterday, I read this reading, that the journey is from mind to heart. The journey is from rationalization to feeling. But is that all? But that's not the all. The journey of life is discovering your unique truth. But in that discovery, in this journey, something pops up, which is something so universal, so unchanging, so permanent, and so omnipotent, that it is unique and yet not unique, and that truth is what we'll call love. For the sake of explanation, this is a one word, love, but love is so big, so all encompassing, that it is impossible to explain it further, or you can call it God. So that is that whole experience. When you shift your focus from knowing, not knowing, to knowing the truth, instead you put your focus in the journey, in the experience itself, then a new kind of truth, a new dimension of truth emerges, which we'll call love. And then your individual truth is there, it is important, but is no more that relevant. But that journey itself becomes relevant, that experience itself becomes relevant, that experience is love. So I always say, you are not the lover, nor you are the loved one. You're not the lover, not you are the loved one. You are the love. You're not the seed. You're not the tree. You are the process of life itself. So that journey is the eternal truth. That experience is the eternal truth, which is cosmopolitan, which is omnipotent, which is universal. But we do have individual truth. That's the beauty of this life. Just like a drop of ocean is individual, and yet it is the ocean. So that's how I think I can best explain, if it does help you
it's
bit.
such a liberation to understand it this way, to comprehend it this way, because we spend our entire life and most our spiritual journey trying to stick to one truth that or stick to something that's not ours. It's liberating that when you know that your truth is only yours and it is in alignment with your highest self and with your highest good, and it's that journey to realize it, rather than keep chasing the truth, which is everyone's truth. It's bits and pieces of that omnipresence, omnipotent. So it's a beautiful explanation. It's very, very, very beautiful.
So maybe when it's right in front of me, the poem which is open, you can call it serendipity, is love is the only truth. So maybe I can read this poem. I
Yes,
don't
please.
know words in there, but this will probably resonate with all of us because truth does resonate. Love is the only truth. In the sky and in ocean, in the sky and in the ocean, through the wind and through the waves. Only one song you hear, only one music to play. I call it my, I call it my love. While some call it God, Allah, Jesus, Krishna, or whatever they say. In the stars, in the moon, in the sun, or in the full bloom, only one light shines through. Only one source shows the way. I call it simply love. While some call it God and still others Allah, Jesus, Krishna, let them be happy and gay. There is nothing. There is nothing, nothing will ever be there. In the void lies the creation. There is nothing, nothing will ever be there. In the void lies the creation. All the colors you see, beloved, all the colors you see, beloved, merge to become a white ray. I call this ray love. While some call it God and still others Allah, Jesus, Krishna. Surely humans have imaginative ways.
We're ending with this beautiful poem, and we're gonna have more and more of this poetry of expansion with Ram soon to be announced here in the Nerika sacred space. Thank you, beloved family. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the precious times you shared with us. Thank you all. We love you. We honor you. And we'll see you soon. Bye bye.